Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? One nation, one election, simultaneous elections for entire country. If you see, this debate is not new. We've had so many times the same debates in your Legacy IS itself earlier. Why has this become a topic again? See, previously, the Prime Minister had appointed a committee under former President of India, President Ramnath Kovind, asking the same question, simultaneous elections for India. Now, this has been referred to a JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee, which is again taking up this debate. Now, first and foremost, let us first take the basic aspect as to what is the simultaneous election means. Simultaneous elections mean, for example, before I explain this, just recently, May 4th, there was election results announced for your West Bengal Legislative Assembly, Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly, and few more states. So, if you see, the center's election was long done. What does this indicate? We have elections for states and center differently. That doesn't mean center ke liye one election, all states ke liye one election. No, each state, whenever its elections, that term is completed, that is when elections are being conducted. So, on an average, if you see, our country in a span of 5 years is always in some sort of election, either be it with respect to your municipal polls, panchayat polls, state legislative assembly elections, or your central Lok Sabha elections. If this is the case, all 5 years, okay, if people are busy always campaigning for one or the other thing in their party, when exactly do they have time for governance? And if all 365 days for 5 years we are only focused on imposing moral code of conduct, conducting elections somewhere or the other, where exactly can we find time for efficiency in administration? As in, where is there time for developmental policies and projects? Now, if you're someone who wants to get to know about local news, national news, international news, subscribe to Legacy IAS Academy channel as we provide deep insights into these topics. So now coming back to the debate. So now we have discussed as to how the present scenario is. So the answer to this, okay, came in the form of simultaneous elections. Simultaneous elections for both center state, as in simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Alongside this, within 100 days, polling for panchayat and municipality also happens. So, election is seen as a one-time exercise and not a recurrent exercise. What happens if it is a recurrent exercise? So much money is spent. Yes, lakhs and lakhs of crores of money is spent just on elections, whereas that same money will increase our GDP itself by 1.6%. Yes, so the improvement, okay, 1.6% of our GDP is a very big tool, especially for your developmental activities, right? So, if at all simultaneous elections are to be conducted, A, from governance perspective, it will be good. B, from developmental activities, you can focus on governing the country rather than always in political campaigning. 3, the cost involved also reduces. Now, all these three are strong, valid points. Now, there comes a bigger question. Will this affect the federalism of our country? Will this affect the basic structure of our country? Will this affect the fundamental rights? So, the JPC has also pointed out that they have taken the consultation of 6 former Chief Justice of India who state that conducting simultaneous elections in India does not affect federalism features, does not affect basic structure doctrine, does not affect fundamental rights. So this is what they are claiming. Understanding? So let's see. What is one nation, one election? Simultaneous elections will be conducted for Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly, and also there's a third element: within 100 days polling will be done for municipality and panchayat. Okay, so this is called as one nation, one election. So this idea is considered under Constitutional Amendment Bill, which is 129th Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2024. The same is also looked into under Union Territories Laws Amendment Bill of 2024. Okay. Now, one nation, one election is going to be such a big game changer, not only from your governance perspective, like we discussed, also from your financial perspective. As in, if at all we were to conduct one nation, one election, 7 lakh crores will be estimatedly saved by reducing the all round the year election conducting. This is the estimate by your Joint Parliamentary Committee. The 7 lakh crore saving will have a direct impact on GDP, where 1.5 to 1.6% of GDP growth is proposed. Your JPC has also told that your JPC has been formed under the chairmanship of PP Chowdhury. Okay. Earlier it was by your Ramnath Kovind committee. We have discussed that. So what is the present system? If you see, like we discussed, Lok Sabha has 5 years. So whenever the timeline of Lok Sabha ends, then again they'll conduct one. The same is for each respective state legislative assembly. And same is for your local bodies. Now this is giving the country into permanent election mode rather than permanent governance mode. Okay. The governance is always disrupted because there is the concept of constant elections. Now, if you ask the question, does that mean just because it is good we have to change our conventions? This first brings us to the question as to, no, simultaneous election concept is not foreign or new to India. We have had the concept of simultaneous elections before. Okay, in 1952, 57, 62, 67, Lok Sabha and state elections were held simultaneously. The cycle broke after 67. The last time that we conducted simultaneous elections was because of premature disruption or ending of your legislative assemblies, and also collapse of governments, and let's say your utilization of president's rule also started becoming bigger. And after that 1967 onwards, there was major disruptions in the political aspects also. So how can one nation, one election be proposed? That is, how can we carry it out? You see, first and foremost, for your Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly, you will have synchronized voting cycle. Okay, that also they will conduct in phases, not in entire one day only. Okay. Next, within 100 days of that, synchronized elections will happen for your local body elections or your panchayat and municipal elections. Okay. If this was to happen, okay, your simultaneous election, there are certain constitutional changes needed, because if you're going to end telling that, okay, at this point of time I'm going to end and everyone is going to enter into simultaneous elections, that would mean a lot of your duration of state legislative assemblies and your Lok Sabha itself will get affected. So, Article 83 speaks about duration of Lok Sabha, 85 dissolution of Lok Sabha, Article 172 duration of state legislature, Article 174 dissolution of it, Article 356 President's rule. So, if we have to do the simultaneous elections, either premature closing or dissolution, or you have to extend the tenure of few legislative assemblies. This is also there. So what are the favors in turn of your one nation, one election? If you see, first and foremost is with respect to your cost. You have said that it saves 7 lakh crores, which impacts directly 1.6% of the GDP. This is in estimated records of Joint Parliamentary Committee. Next is better governance, because the country is constantly in the mode of locked and fixed election cycles. So this disrupts governance. So this governance cycle growing, economic growth growing, also leads to good developmental issues. So this will lead to less polarization and increased administrative efficiency. Okay, so people are also not constantly put in the, okay, table of or your whirlwind of elections all the time. So what are the arguments against one nation, one election? First and foremost, many people see that regional issues will be overshadowed and this will be seen as a direct threat to federalism, where the national narratives tend to start dominating the state regional interests. Next is constitutional challenges. Okay, let's assume we will conduct a simultaneous election. In between, okay, in between the term, if a particular state, okay, legislative assembly, either they lose the majority or president's rule is implied, okay, the term gets disrupted, then what happens to that state? Okay, then again, if you have to bring back different election, then the whole point of simultaneous election itself will go wasted. Then they are also telling that when simultaneous elections are conducted, national parties tend to gain advantage over your regional local parties. Also, the voter behavior, the national wave effect, will tend to influence them to pick the same party of the nation as that to the state. Okay, lastly, it is logistics burden, because India is not just one of the populous country. India is the world's populous country, so high procurement of your EVMs, conducting of elections, huge amount of polling officers, returning officers, it will be very difficult for such a magnanimous scale. Okay. If you see with regarding to support and committees coming, your Niti Aayog, Law Commission of India, and 6 former Chief Justices of India all have supported the claim of Joint Parliamentary Committee, stating that yes, conducting of simultaneous elections will not hamper federalism, basic structure, or your aspect of fundamental rights. Now, certain key committees have also suggested one nation, one election concept. That is the proposal. Law Commission report in 1999. Parliamentary Standing Committee also in 2015. A parliamentary committee, parliament, Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2015 also recognized for introducing gradual synchronization. Ramnath Kovind Committee also held the same thing with regarding to constitutional feasibility and your synchronization of elections. If you see which countries have simultaneous elections, we can see countries like South Africa, Belgium, Sweden, okay, and Germany to one extent, USA with respect to your fixed timelines. So, if you see, the concept of simultaneous elections have been successfully implemented in India. Yes, because we being the most populous country, we have lot of hurdles and challenges, but it is not impossible to do if the benefits are outweighing the difficulties. Okay, so what do we need is political consensus, constitutional amendment, okay, a lot of awareness on these topics, and dealing with, more importantly, the nation first priority will be the best course of action in here. With this, we have come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.